It was the year 1993, when a new group of superheroes hit the waves, all multicolored, armed with various weapons, controlling their dinosaur-powered vehicles and battling the forces of evil. They were the Power Rangers. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, to be exact. The whole concept of the show was taken from a Japanese TV show known as Super Sentai, and it was adapted for Western audiences. Now, my first initial reaction was, what is this? A bad rip-off of Voltron Defenders of the Universe with really horrible acting. I was that dismissive of it. Now, over time, thanks to a childhood friend, that opinion changed rather quickly, and it became one of my favourite shows of the 1990s. Fast forward, and after many incarnations, the show is celebrating its 30th year, which is just simply astounding. The popularity of the show, along with its many actors making appearances across comic conventions over the years, have kept the spirit of the Power Rangers show alive. On September 30th, 2022, during the Hasbro PulseCon, it was announced that there would be a reunion special with some of the original cast members. David Yost and Walter Jones would reprise their roles as Billy and Zack, Steve Cardenas returns as Rocky, the Red Ranger, and Catherine Sutherland as Kat, the Pink Ranger. Karen Ashley and Johnny Young Wash feature as Aisha and Adam, and newcomer for this special was Charlie Kirsch as Min Kwan, Trini's daughter. Now sadly, this was as good as it was going to get for an OG reunion. Thuy Trang as Trini tragically lost her life back in 2001. Austin St. John could not leave the country to go film with the others in New Zealand, as he was charged with an alleged scheme to defraud the Paycheck Protection Program, an allegation that he strongly denies, and he has vowed to get his name cleared. Amy Jo Johnson could not come to terms on a suitable agreement with the producers, and on top of all her directorial duties, she declined to return for the special. And the late great Jason David Frank had been approached to reprise his role as Tommy, but he declined as he felt he had done more than enough for the franchise over the years up until that point, and he was more focused on his upcoming feature movie, The Legend of the White Dragon. To me personally, the absence of these four was really felt, and it brought down what would have been an otherwise great feeling of nostalgia, which would have been felt if we had managed to get the entire OG cast. The closest we managed to an OG reunion was at the Power Rangers 2017 movie premiere, when 5 of the original 6 Rangers appeared on the red carpet. Now, the whole reunion invoked a different range of emotions from me. Number 1, I was very happy to see most of the OG Mighty Morphin cast from the first 3 seasons, and seeing Zack interacting with Kat, Rocky, Adam and Aisha was very cool to see. The second was a feeling of sadness because of the absence of the 4 OG Rangers who couldn't be there. The third was an annoyance at the lack of 2 very popular characters in Power Rangers history, the lack of Bulk and Skull. I mean, they were very prevalent for about 6 seasons of Power Rangers, so not having them here was very disappointing. And feeling number 4 was a feeling of cringiness because, let's face it, the acting has never been their strong suit. And it's just a trait that is carried on to here. And I mean, you'd think after 30 years they would write better lines that wouldn't come off as, well, hokey. It's just one of those traits from Power Rangers that, funny enough, was one of its endearing qualities. Now, you have probably seen the special by now, so instead of a step-by-step run-through, I will just briefly go through the special, featuring some of the highlights. It is the year 2022. Billy has returned to Earth after his stay in Aquitar after leaving during Season 4 with the Zeo Rangers. He is the owner of a new company known as Cranston Tech, and he has secretly built a new command center underneath, and he is working with Alpha 8 to try and revive Zordon, after he had been sacrificed by Andros of the Space Rangers to destroy Astronomer and all the evil forces that the Rangers had been dealing with up until that point. Unwittingly, they release the evil purged from Rita Repulsa, who possesses Alpha and becomes Robo-Rita. Billy calls the other Rangers and they engage Rita in battle. During the fight, Billy is about to be terminated when Trini steps in and takes the hit and ultimately kills her. The Rangers mourn her death as Rita retreats to concoct her new plans for world domination. Zack has become the guardian to Trini's daughter Min. The Rangers are ambushed while visiting Trini's grave, with the green, the red and the pink Rangers taken hostage. Min falls out with Billy and she blames him for Trini's death. Back at the command center, Alpha 9 initiates the Bandora Protocol, which alerts Rangers teams throughout the universe. Rocky and Cat return and have been given proxy power coins so they can morph with their old powers. Min is desperate to help and unsuccessfully fails to transform into the Yellow Ranger to battle the putties who've ambushed her at the juice bar. Rocky and Zack appear to save her, and Zack has a heartfelt talk with her about the responsibilities about being a Power Ranger. Billy discovers Rita's plan, which is to go back in time, use a time portal created from the powers of the captured Rangers, which has extended to the other Rangers teams, and then contact her past self and kill the 5 OG Rangers before Zordon can reach them. Min herself has been captured by Robo Rita after she took Billy's radbug, in an attempt to aid the Rangers and prove herself. The Rangers arrive at Rita's new moon base to take her on and save Min. During the melee, in a reverse repeat of what was seen at the beginning of the special, Min jumps in and saves Billy from Rita, as Rita was about to kill him with her energy blast. It looks as if Min is about to share the same fate as her mother. But because of this act of goodwill, the Yellow Morpher has bonded to her and it revives her. Now the Power Rangers are a quintet. The quintet morph into action and take on Rita and her minions and destroy her for good. There is a reunion with the OG Morphin Rangers as Aisha and Adam join them at the command center. Rocky and Cat join them as they take all the newly freed Rangers to the planet Aquitar to heal, whilst Billy and Zack reminisce with Min about their past adventures as Rangers. There is a very somber but touching finish to the special, which did pull at my heartstrings a little bit. There is a flashback to the Season 2 episode, The Song of Guitardo, where Kimberly is singing her song Never Say Goodbye with the original group in tow. And then we fade to the images of the dearly departed Thuy Trang and Jason David Frank. Now there is a bit to unpack from all of this. Just a bit. First, the ridiculous plot holes for this special. In the beginning, when the Rangers are battling Robo Rita, it is the Mighty Morphin Rangers that we're seeing here. But at this point in the Power Rangers continuum, the Morphin Rangers were gone, as were their successors, the Zeo and the Turbo Rangers. Andros of the Space Rangers killed Zordon at Zordon's request to save the universe. So, how did the Rangers get back their morphing powers? Weren't the Dinozords destroyed? And how did Tommy become the Green Ranger again after he lost his powers permanently and subsequently became the White Ranger and then the Red Zeo Ranger and then the Red Turbo Ranger?
Billy and I took months getting the saber-toothed tiger Zord working without a Yellow Ranger.
Alpha and I've been experimenting with the secondary connections of the grid.
We made these proxy power coins as a contingency. Now all of you can use dino powers.
Okay, I guess that explains how they got their morphin powers back temporarily, but still doesn't explain how Tommy got his Green Ranger powers. Just saying. Aisha and Adam are now part of the Space Council on Aquitar, so I guess it means that they left Earth and this is what their lives are like now? I mean, there's no explanation for that. And there is no mention from Zack about all the peace conferences that him, Jason, and Trini went to. And then there's Kat, who mentions her son and clearly says that Tommy is the father. Which means, 1, Tommy and Kimberly never got back together, and 2, Tommy and Kat got together and had a kid. But are they married? Are they separated? There's just no explanation, no story on that whatsoever. Zordon does not even appear, as the plot was trying to stick to the story of keeping him gone after his sacrifice. But then that sacrifice didn't exactly stop Rita from returning now, did it? And a reunion without Zordon, just left a gaping hole, I think. I mean, in terms of consistency and continuity, the story for this special is just all over the place. Now, fans of the Power Rangers have always known of plot holes in the series. I mean, it's just part of the lore. The special itself, well, it feels like a love letter to the fans of the original series. And it feels like it is taken right from the 1990s, but with modern day updates to make it feel more relevant to the current times.
Hey! Hey! Help! They're after my boyfriend! That way, George!
Now, I personally liked the look of the new dinosaurs, taken straight from the 90s but felt and looked more modern with HD graphics. The fight sequences were pretty much in line with what we were used to from the original show. I did mention a lack of Bulk and Skull in this special, but also there is no Goldar, there's no Squat, there's no Babu. Now, Squat and Babu I was fine with not being there, but Goldar for me was another mainstay of the original series, and it would have been great to have had him as part of the special too. Richard Sebel, who played Ernie, had passed away, and there was no mention or no real tribute to him, which sadly again was very disappointing. Now, when the picture first surfaced of the reunion, we saw clips of the Green Ranger, and others, like myself, assumed that Adam would be taking the role of the Green Ranger, especially as he had experience of being the Green Zeo Ranger, and Aisha would take on the mantle of the Yellow Ranger as she did take over from Trini, and that would have given us the 6 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And having Trini's daughter Min there would have seen Aisha transfer the power to her eventually, and maybe have Min start a new group of Power Rangers for a new generation. As we saw in the special, that was not the case. Adam and Aisha largely had cameo roles as opposed to full-on roles. And that too was very, very disappointing, because it would have been nice to have seen them in action with the other 4. And another thing, they could have used old stock voiceover footage for the missing Power Rangers that were captured, to at least make it feel like they were there. Again, just another gripe of mine. It really does sound like I'm completely down on the Rangers reunion. And whilst there are negatives for this special, there are some positives as well. I thought Zack and Billy showed a lot more emotion than at any point during their past appearances on Power Rangers, especially with their interactions with Min. As it was a Netflix show, there was a bit more of an edge to it, like being able to use the word kill, which was not allowed in the network shows originally, as it was forbidden. Seeing some of the OG Rangers was a great sight to see. The graphics used for the Zords I thought looked very sleek and very smooth and pretty. But I have to confess, I'm struggling to find a lot of positives. I mean, I just felt this reunion, it could have had so much more. I mean, they did leave the door open for the possibility of another reunion, so maybe things that weren't addressed here could get addressed there. I have to say though, I don't feel all that confident, but we'll see. Not having Austin St. John, Amy Jo Johnson, Thuy Trang, and Jason David Frank was definitely a downside, and their lack of presence was definitely felt, especially Jason David Frank, who has become the undisputed face of the Power Rangers. Tragically, Jason died on November 19th, 2022. He had just completed his feature movie, The Legend of the White Dragon, which was in post-production and slated for release on September the 4th, 2023, this year. He had made several appearances over the years long after his last major series run with Dino Thunder. It is alleged, and I stress this, alleged that he had a fallout with the producers at Hasbro, and that played a part in him declining to return for the special. Now, as we saw, there was a very touching tribute to himself and Thuy Trang. Thuy's presence was felt all over this special, and this is vicariously through her daughter Min. Austin was a huge miss as well, given his standing in Power Rangers lore as the first ever Red Ranger and the first ever leader of a Power Rangers team. Amy Jo Johnson's big personality was a big miss, and it would have been great to have seen her interact with the OG Rangers, especially with Kat, as Kat was now the mother of Tommy's son. That would have made an interesting dynamic, I think. Again, all of this is just things that I personally would have loved to have seen, but circumstances and the unfortunate tragedies that occurred sadly prevented what would have been an excellent reunion. To close on all of this, despite all my misgivings, I did enjoy seeing the reunion, and it stayed true to the tone of the original show, and it brought back so many memories I had of watching the Power Rangers in my younger days. The actors and the actresses have not aged all that much, and they still look young enough to pull off a full season of Power Rangers. I mean, a one-season special with them as adults as depicted here, but with kids of their own, and looking to make them the future Rangers to carry on the legacy. I don't know, that sounds like a really good plot to me. Overall, a great trip down memory lane, a great one-off bringing back some of our favourite OG Rangers, and possibly a look into the future with young Min as the new Yellow Ranger. Power Rangers once and always, bringing back those great memories.